Hello everybody, as promised I'm going to show you what I use for makeup, and I've already put on a moisturizer. I don't know about you, but I have very oily skin and I have very large pores, so I find if I put a moisturizer on earlier in the day as I'm getting dressed, let it soak in, I don't get as oily, because as you may or may not know, oil production is there because your skin is dry, in part. In part, you're just naturally greasy like me, but I use L'Oreal's Age Perfect Day Cream. Just a little bit on, and then of course let it soak in. I also use Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm Eye gel-like that you put around your eye and it helps tighten it up a little bit. Not a lot, but it's there. All right, now that that's all absorbed in, I have millions of primers, but right now my favorite is Maybelline's Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. It does seem to work for me. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. This is a silicone-based type, which in the winter can be problematic for some people. I don't really need to do around my eyes because I already have the eye firm on. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put on Rimmel's Exaggerate Undercover Shadow Primer. Now, like most of us that learned to put makeup on in the 70s and maybe even 80s, I use my finger for a large percentage of things, my hands for a large percentage of things. I do use brushes for powders and that kind of thing, but I do use a beauty blender for my foundations. Okay. It can leave kind of a dusky mess, you think, but it does help when you put on your eyeshadow to make it stay put, blend better, etc. Today I'm going to use Wet n Wild's foundation Photo Focus. Not a bad one. My shade is bronze beige, sorry. Rather inexpensive, but it works well, I find. And just dab a little here and there. Now, I know a lot of people don't put foundation on their eyes. I do, because I have a lot of discoloration around my eye. Now, I never remember to take my beauty blender into the bathroom and moisten it, so I use a setting spray. Okay. Now, I tend to push it in where my pores are larger because it tends to help eliminate the look of pores. If you just rub it on, it doesn't do that. And after years and years and years of rubbing it on, now I know. Now, to be honest, you probably have a million things you could use in place of a beauty blender, but I like the texture. But these little makeup squares you get that we use for fingernail art, the little triangular shaped ones, I can get one out. I need to get more. These don't work bad either. There's a little more dense foam maybe, but they're a hell of a lot cheaper than a beauty blender. So, and the idea is just to deposit just enough, not too much, not leave patchiness, and to be honest, kind of grind it into those pores so that you have a smoother look. Now, it also has a nice little point to get into the corners of your eyes. corner of the nose, anywhere you might have a problem getting that big butt in there. You can also get little guys like this. Okay. Now, the concealer. This is Maybelline Master Concealer by Facestudio. Okay. And having had a sample of Tarte Shape Tape, I'd say it's a damn close copy. Damn close. Now, a little bit of contour. This is Maybelline Master Contour Facestudio. It's got the contour, the blush, and the highlight. I don't like the highlight, but the contour is about the right color for me. Now, back in the day, we didn't use contour. We used blush. So you might have had and might still have 6-7 shades of blush that you use to highlight certain things, darken other things. Maybe if you were very lucky, you had a darker foundation. I know a lot of people who use dark foundations to do it, and that's fine too. It works. But the idea here is to just accentuate certain things and hide other things. So, don't know why that made it look very red right there. So this is Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline. So not quite as light as my contour, but just enough to reduce that redness, which I don't know what that came from. I may have wiped off my foundation. As I said, the Wet n Wild isn't the world's greatest, but I wanted to use inexpensive stuff. My favorite foundation is my Kat Von D Lock-It, which, okay, it's got a lot of goo on it, but it has a full coverage. I also like my L'Oreal Infallible and Physicians Formula in that bottle. If they printed it any little smaller, that would be light, medium, nude wear is what it's called. So on hot days, I like that one because it just doesn't feel like I'm wearing a mask and tends to make me sweat more, which a lot of thick foundations can do. All right, contouring done. Put that away. Okay. A little blush will do ya. And this is Luminous Loose Blush from Studio Makeup. It's one of the things I got in the glossy box, I believe. And it's not too terrible of a shade for me. And yes, I tend to drag it over my eyes. I find that if I have a light pink tint on my eyes, they just look fresher, more awake. Now, what I have here is an e.l.f. lip scrub. Now, we older people know that we can get a dry chapped lip from drinking water. It doesn't take much. This is a lip scrub, and it's basically probably some coconut oil and other oils, other emollients with some sugar in it that exfoliates your lips a little bit, which does make your lipstick look better, last longer, etc. I have metallic mousse from Hard Candy. And the color is truffle. Alright, I'm going to move on to eyeliner. I like to do my eyeliner before I do my eyeshadow, simply because I can sometimes have difficulty with it because I do have fine motor control problems with my right arm. This is Maybelline's Line Stiletto, I think it's called. Yeah, Ultimate Precision Liquid Eyeliner. I kept the package because there's no way in hell I was going to be able to read that. Oh no, this one's better now. Maybelline Line Stiletto. I had to just recently get a new one because my other one dried up. And I just kept trying to use it and use it. Yeah, you know. Alright, that's a wing. Yeah, there's some black eyeshadow in my future. Yes, there is. Okay. I have an angle brush here. I'll just put some black on the tip. And I'm just dabbing it on to absorb the moisture. And dry this up quicker because I have a knife. Okay. I have the black. I'll put a little bit under there. I'll smear that out in a minute. Just keep that out handy dandy for the other eye. And now for the impossible dream, I'm trying to make right eye look like left eye. Let's let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put some black shadow on what's still there. Let us try this again. I drag it along my lash line, even if I have to do it in little fits and starts. I drag the brush along my lash line. Okay. And then I follow the lower lid to determine where my wing's gonna go. And then I drag from the tip into the eye. Wing. I make a little dot. Start just beyond that dot and drag it in. Not too shabby, considering. Now, because I do have some issues with trying to, you know, I rest my arm on the table, and then I let the brush hit the eyelash first, and then follow in to push it into the eyeliner. Okay. Maybelline Matic twist up crayon and do the waterline. I have to give a gentle tug down. I know I shouldn't, but I kind of have to. Some people don't, but I do. So I do a little blending with the angle brush after brushing off as much excess as possible. And then I go back in with a Q-tip. Removing, basically. And that's kind of the thing when you have physical limitations, you end up going back and going back and going back, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with a little touch-up. Oh, the faces we make, right? The older you get, the bigger you think you're going, oh, but my mouth bigger, I'll stretch that out. Oh. But that's alright. Okay, there we go. No smears. Yay. Let's do a little highlight. I have Wet n Wild highlighting powder, Mega Glow, and this is in Precious Petals. Now, due to our age, I know they always say do the brow bone. It depends on your complexion. It depends on what issues you may have. I find doing above the eyebrow maybe a little more helpful. And under the tip of the nose. And the Cupid's bow. Be very, very light-handed in this area if you have any wrinkles, if you have big pores. You don't want to highlight it because that's exactly what it does. Was the Soiree Dream... wait a minute. Soiree Diaries. I'm sorry. I thought it said Desires. Whatever. So, I'm going to take a little bit of the medium. Now, unlike the young girls, you see you're going... Don't do that. Start at the outer edge, gently moving in. You see how very little that brush is bending? If you feel the metal, you're hurting yourself. You're stretching your skin. Don't do that. Just remember, it's not a windshield wiper. It's your eyelid and makeup brush. There is no reason to be going back and forth 800 times, pressing so hard that your skin moves back and forth. Now we're going to go into Stunner. Well, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? Again, starting at the outside edge, I just tap and draw, tap and draw, tap and draw, depending on how much pigmentation. Okay. Let's get a different brush. Well, let's try Mogul. I think it says Mogul. And just go on the inside here. Let's brighten that up a little bit. Going a little bit into Mogul and a little bit into Private Party. That sounds dirty. All right. And just doing it under the brow bone. Okay. And now to blend the living crap out of it. Not too shabby. Now I'm going to take, what the hell is that called? Twinkle. Twinkle it is. And just on the inside, we're going to wet this a little bit. Twinkle isn't twinkling. But there's a way to fix that. Get your brush a little wet. Tap into it. And then we're just going to go on the inner third of the bottom lash line. Okay. I'm just taking a touch of this metallic called Dazzle on my finger, because that's the only way you're going to pick it up besides wetting a brush, and I don't want that much. Just tapping it on the inside, right in there. Alright, now I'm going to take a tiny brush, if I can find a teeny brush. I have another little angled brush, and I'm going to pick up some highlighter. And I'm going to go right in there by the tear duct. Yes, yes. Not too shabby. All right, finishing powder first. So this is Maybelline Fit Me in Light. This is a wonderful finishing powder. I have several I like, but this is my current favorite. Sometimes I think they're seasonal. You know, when I sweat more in the summertime, some are better. Right now, it's that time of year where you could have a hot day or you could have a cold day. Here in Ohio, we have crazy weather. Literally, a week and a half ago, it was 90 degrees. And then last week, it was it was below freezing. Today, we had thunderstorms you wouldn't have believed, and tornadoes are in the area, and it's November. We never used to have that kind of weather, but you know, global warming and all. Okay. So the Maybelline Fit Me is probably my favorite currently, but the go-to old-fashioned, works every time without question, is Coty Airspun. The only thing about this is it does smell like your grandma. And I'm sure we all remember seeing that in grandma's bathroom. Maybe mom's, but definitely grandma's. And it comes with this old-fashioned powder puff, and every time I see this, I'm nostalgic for my grandmother's bathroom. It was coffee colored, well, they call it coffee, it looked like salmon to me. Tile, the whole thing, the vanity, everything. Everything was tile. But the smell of this, grandma. But my grandma was the sewer, the ceramics, the painter. She taught me everything I know, and that's a lot, honey. I gotta tell you, that's a lot. So there we are, all done. This is more of a glam nighttime going out to dinner with the hubby kind of thing. Yeah, I'd probably wear it to the grocery store. It's not too over the top, but generally speaking for the day, I generally don't put too much on the bottom lid, maybe just some mascara and a little blush on the eyelid, maybe a light brown or gray. That's it. I don't wear this much color, generally speaking. Lighter lipstick, certainly. But I always wear a little highlight in the corner there, just because my eyes are hooded. It does tend to make them look brighter or more open. Don't know why. There you have it. I hope that it was interesting. And if there's anything that you do that you love, that works for you every time, by all means, please share it. I'd love to know. Because as much as I love the beauty gurus out there, I love, I think her name is IvyMUA, but it's spelled Ivy. She's my favorite. I love that lady. Just love her. I do learn things from them. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of those things I have to transfer over to what works on my skin, and being older, you know. A lot of them wear false eyelashes every day. I don't, because of the pulling on the skin, and I hope that they don't see later on why that is. I don't get Botox or injections or fillers or anything. I haven't yet, anyway, which is not to say I wouldn't, because if I could afford it, I'd do it daily. I'd have everything pulled, tucked, lifted, filled, you name it. But I can't afford it, so I have to be very cautious about how much pulling I'm doing and what I'm using on my skin. I will say goodbye, and I will ask you to be well, and stay positive. See you again soon.